Hi, UMA students. My name is Vicki Weissman, and I am here to talk to you about our topic, therapeutic response across the lifespan. Today, we're going to be talking about the age group of adults who range from approximately 20-year-olds to 65-year-olds. So for communication analysis, we're going to be looking what makes up an adult in terms of their um, human and growth development, their cognitive development, what are some of their communication patterns, and how we as healthcare providers can effectively communicate with adults. Now, we might think, well, that's easy. I'm an adult. I can communicate with another adult. And for the most part, yes, that is true. But as we go into a new career as a healthcare worker, we want to make sure that we are an expert, that we really understand the customer, who we are dealing with, so that we can be effective and efficient in our healthcare communication. So let's take a scenario. Let's think about our friend Mary, who is around 40 years old, and she's going to the doctor for her routine physical. And she has her physical, and the doctor checks all of her ears, her eyes, and all of her physical functions. And then the doctor says, "Well, Mary, how are you doing?" And Mary says, "I'm doing fine. I feel fine, but life, it can be really hard these days. I'm dealing with my children, I'm dealing with my parents, and I'm also trying to be happy. I'm trying to take care of myself. I'm trying to eat right. I'm trying to exercise, all those things that we need to do." Maybe Mary has just gone back to school, is also balancing a full-time job, and is a mother and a daughter and maybe a wife. So that's a lot of responsibility on one person, as I'm sure we all know. Those responsibilities can take a toll on someone. Sometimes we can communicate in a way that surprises even us, like, wow, why did I snap at that person? Sometimes we might feel like, who am I? I don't recognize this person because I'm not talking to people the way I used to, or maybe I'm not listening to other people the way I used to when I was younger. So we need to think about, who is this adult communicator? What makes them tick? And what can we do as healthcare providers to have a nice relationship with our adult patients? So let's dig in a little more. We're going to bring up our PowerPoint and we're going to analyze the adult communicator. Hi, welcome back. Here we are with our PowerPoint, the therapeutic response across the lifespan. Adults, what should they be recognized for? Well, as adults, we are hard workers. We are working to earn a living to take care of ourselves and our families. We, as you currently are, working toward career goals. We all take baby steps working to the highest level we can achieve within our given career. Sometimes we make moves within those careers. We might start a new career. We're always kind of working to better ourselves. We're establishing our families. We are having babies. We are taking care of children. We maybe are taking on other people's children if we have loved ones who need our help. Maybe we're also looking after friends. We are taking on a lot of responsibility, more so than we ever had before in our life. We're also becoming involved in our communities. We are volunteering our time. We are making monetary contributions sometimes. We are trying to make changes for the better. We are responsible adults, and these are the things that we should be recognized for because it's our world and we are working to make it a better place. We're working on our relationships, having good relationships with a partner, a spouse, a child, a parent. coworkers, supervisors. We're trying to have healthy relationships, which of course deals a lot with communication. And we are also trying to keep ourselves healthy. We are trying to eat right, exercise, and that can be challenging at times because there's a lot of temptations out there in the world. And sometimes, with all the responsibilities, we just want to eat sometimes to make ourselves feel better. I don't know. But we do try to stay healthy. Anyways, so as I was saying, it can be difficult being an adult. It requires a lot of time and responsibility. We are waking up early. We are going to sleep late. We are having days filled with driving and cooking and cleaning and paying bills and trying to do a job and going to doctor's appointments. There is stress related with being an adult. And as a healthcare worker, you are going to hear these stresses. Sometimes, as a healthcare worker, you spend the day and somebody's complaining about this and somebody's complaining about that. It can get heavy on your shoulders, even though it isn't really your responsibility. This age group can benefit from information and assistance regarding daily living and parenting. So, whatever we can provide in terms of informational pamphlets, websites, support groups, anything we can do to bring attention to ways that our adults in our healthcare environment can be better served to help deal with those responsibilities. That is a great communication strategy to help them. So as I was saying, education can be an important component of each helping interview. When you're talking to someone, especially if they first come into an office or you're just getting to know them, you really want to listen to what they're saying and you want to educate them in any way you can from your experience, from things you've seen around you. Maybe your healthcare office has pamphlets and information that you can provide the person. So really listen to what they're saying so you can provide them the care they need. And another thing to think about, since this is such a large age range, your young adults can still be living as adolescents. Maybe they're still living under their parents' roofs. Maybe they're on their own, but not financially independent. And so they're kind of going back and forth between being independent, maybe having a job, but still having some um, ties with their parents and not fully independent. So that can be challenging because maybe they're trying to get up on their own, but it's a little harder than they originally thought. So what do we need to remember? Physical health. We're only as good as we are healthy. Now, women in their childbearing years, when they're in their when they're younger adults, they're in their childbearing years. So women can be concerned about when they're going to have children. Are they going to be healthy to have children? What that is going to be like. And then as women get older, they can be going towards menopause, which can cause hormonal changes. It can make their weight change. They can have changes in their endurance. They can get tired more easily. And so these are all concerns because all of a sudden you're still dealing with everything, but maybe you're not feeling as well as you used to. And men are generally healthy, but they also can experience hormonal changes as they get into their 40s and 50s, which can make them also maybe gain weight, maybe also be a little more tired than they used to, which can be concerning. And you might also see some other physical ailments. People need to start getting colonoscopies. They need to have mammograms. They need to get their heart checked. Yeah, you really, maybe as you're a young adult, you don't really worry about going to the doctor too often. And then you get in your 40s and your 50s and you're like, okay, I need to start having a regular physical. I need to make sure my body is working the way it's supposed to. You might also be thinking about your parents and some of their health issues and how those health issues might one day affect you. So we're going to talk about the growth and development of adults using the Erikson stage of psychosocial development. An early adult might develop intimate relationships or feel isolated if they're having trouble creating those intimate relationships. Usually as a young adult, you see a lot of people finding partners and spouses. You have a lot of affiliations and love, and you're making friends and you're having a good time, and you kind of feel like you're on top of the world for the most part, or you hope so. And if you're not, you can be feeling kind of sad or bad about yourself. So those 19 to 40-year olds, um, they're going strong. They're trying to start a career, start a family, searching for a mate. There's a lot of changes going in their life. They might be moving from one place to another. Maybe they're having children. I know that you've all experienced these things. You've all had life surprises come at you, things you didn't expect. And that all makes you you. In general, you're having good health and you're moving at your peak. You're able to exercise well, hopefully. And if you're not, I hope that you are going and getting things checked out, because sometimes things do arise that you might not expect even when you're at a younger age. At this stage, individuals are self-confident and able to make rational decisions regarding their health care. You want to provide options and describe the benefits and expectations of good health care. You want to be there, you want to support them, but hopefully things are moving along pretty well for those young adults. Now, as we get to the 40 to 65-year age range, we are in the generativity versus stagnation. You're generating, you're doing a lot, but you're getting a little older. And like I said before, some of the things that you used to do are a little harder to do than they once were. But this is the most productive period in your life. Hopefully you're stable. Maybe your living situation has gotten stable. If you're married, you have children, you're living in one place. Hopefully maybe you have the career you've been looking for, or maybe you're looking for a new career and going back to school, which is a wonderful thing to do. You're working to satisfy and support the next generation, though, as well, with your children. You're making and discovering new things, hopefully, in your career and about yourself. You're trying to be established socioeconomically, and you also might be working to help your parents and others in the community. You want to be having this physical health maintenance. It's important during this age, because you want to set yourself up for a long life into your 80s and 90s, and you need to take care of yourself in your 40s and 50s. You also need to deal with the stress and learn coping strategies. A lot of people are doing meditation and yoga, exercise. You have to really be aware of what your body's telling you and what you need, so that you can cope with life stresses, because they are there and they're real and you can't just ignore them. So the therapeutic approach and the desired outcome is that you want to have concern for this generation. And if your healthcare clients aren't fulfilled, they will feel empty and dissatisfied, as most people would. They either feel good about their past, or they might be in despair. They might brag about past accomplishments so they can feel good about themselves. But the most important thing you can do is listen to what they have to say and give them appropriate health care choices. So, what do we want to think about when we have our therapeutic response to adults? As any age group, you want to speak clearly, concisely. You want to have good eye contact. You want to be a good listener. You want to really hear what they're saying. Maybe you ask some questions to what they tell you. Rephrase what they've said so you know that you are understanding. When you do these things, that's the best way you can get to know your adult clients. Try to take the time, especially an initial visit or two, to really get to know them and what they care about and what their concerns are. And then that way you can better serve them. You always want to be aware of their cultures and lifestyles and religious beliefs. Now, in our current day, that's a big deal. A lot of people have different feelings about that. But from my experience as a speech therapist and as an adult, it's always good to keep an open mind and be sensitive to where other people are coming from. It creates a certain level of respect and dignity that helps the communication process. You want to recognize the skills and intelligence of your patient or client. They come from all different backgrounds, and people need that recognition, because if not, they won't trust what you're trying to tell them. You want to emphasize preventative health care. The healthcare providers that you will work for will teach you about this, and you might become a liaison to share, depending on how an office is set up or what your roles and responsibilities are. You might be a communication liaison so that you can make sure that they are taking good care of their health. You want to respect any illnesses that they might have and injuries. You want to just be aware of the person in front of you, the whole person, the physical person, their cognition, their abilities. You want to be respectful of their privacy, and there's laws like HIPAA, which you'll learn about in other courses, so that you can be respectful of the patient and know their rights. You want to encourage positive thinking. You want to make sure, because positive thinking is very important in healthcare. A lot of times ailments might come around because they have stress. And if we think positive, sometimes that can create positive results. Now, some people might differ on that. I don't know. But I do believe in the power of positive thinking. You also want to be careful not to promise specific results. We are not the healthcare providers. We are, just as I said before, liaisons, whether you're a medical administrative assistant, if you're a healthcare accountant, a medical biller and coder. We're not dealing with the healthcare problem per se, like a doctor would be. So you don't want to say things that you can't back up. So you need to be careful. And you need to remember that that's a patient you're talking to, and not necessarily, even if you feel like you're developing a friendship, there's a certain level of respect and professionalism that you want to have when you're dealing with adult patients. So I don't know if maybe you all have some questions that you might want to present to your instructor about the information I've shared with you today. You might think about your own health care or experiences you have had going into a doctor's office, and whether you like the care they provided, or if you think, well, maybe they didn't respect my privacy, or they didn't talk to me in a way that I appreciated, where they recognized my skills and intelligence. You can learn from your experiences and try to make yourself a better healthcare communicator. That's what we're here to do. So I really hope that you take some time and reflect on the information that I shared with you today. Use the course, the content, the readings, the interactives, the assignments, the assessments. Do your own research on the topic. Use the UMA library. Really dig in, because it's really important to be able to communicate well. If you have a good relationship, if you can speak well to the other person, a lot of problems can easily be resolved. So I'll leave you on that note tonight, and I wish you all the best as always, and I hope you enjoyed this video and that you enjoy communicating as much as I do. Have a good night.